Neil, what do you make of that? John Healey is the Chancellor, not Ed, and not Shabana Mahmood.
Well, it says a lot for Andy Burnham's imagination and effectiveness. It's a very deliberate, determined decision.
What does it signify, Neil?
Knows that. Pardon?
What does it signify?
It signifies that John Healey is a man of really proven capacity, of great integrity and firmness. He's a tough guy, and it's just the qualities that you need in the Treasury.
Let us say hello to Neil Kinnock, who's live on the line, the former leader of the Labour Party. Neil, welcome to you. Big welcome to you.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you.
Now, Neil, you were named in that speech on Friday by Andy Burnham as his great mentor, as the huge influence on his political career. Today, I'm guessing very, very strongly you are a very happy man.
I'm happy that Andy's there. Sad that Keir's gone, particularly in the way it all ended. But I think that we'll get a fresh start. And I think that's becoming evident as the minutes pass.
A fresh start. Tell me what the ideal fresh start looks like to you, Neil. When Andy Burnham was a different leader to Keir Starmer, he's certainly a very different leader to Jeremy Corbyn. He's a different leader to Tony Blair. I mean, you were glad to see Tony Blair come, and you supported Neil Kinnock. Have you been, although the circumstances are very different, the times are very much tougher, have you been as cheerful about a new leader as you have now?
Well, except for the fact that he's my friend and comrade, so I'm bound to worry about his well-being. I'm pleased that he's there because he's got the insights and the instincts that are required, particularly in what you rightly describe as difficult times. I mean, there are many ways of rationalizing that. The country is not as poor as some influences would try to persuade us, and our successes are much more remarkable, not just in government, but in business, science, technology, the conduct of the community, than our culture, theatre, music, all the rest of it, much, much stronger than sometimes the self-caricatures would tell you. But the great task for Andy is to maximize those strengths, combat the deficits and weaknesses, and carry on with effective management of the country.
Okay, you praise Andy Burnham's instincts, you praise his likely direction. I just want to know what that looks like. So when you hear Andy Burnham tell us that neoliberalism is over, what does that actually mean to you? What are the signposts of policy change that make that real in a way that you think is needed?
Well, he's describing catastrophic failure, isn't he? I mean, you've lived, we've lived, all of us, through the last 40 years. And we know that despite the respite given by the Blair-Brown years and the commitment which transformed temporarily, unfortunately, the health service and hugely strengthened education for a time, combated pensioner and family poverty, all those great accomplishments, the weaknesses of the neoliberal system and its miscalculations and injustices were never uprooted. So that is a job that remains to be done.
Right.
I think Andy Burnham, not for ideological reasons, but for very prosaic, practical reasons, will seek to continue the job that indeed failure of neoliberalism has begun for itself, and try to restore a sense of community responsibility and order to an extremely disorderly and wasteful, dreadfully wasteful system.
Okay, would you be as happy with a Shabana Mahmood chancellorship as you would be perhaps with an Ed Miliband chancellorship? Because, you know, the markets and the city, they have pretty clear ideas on this.
Well, yeah, but that's not my judgment, John, is it? I mean, they're both very strong characters, very strong Labour people, utterly committed to the well-being of the country. So in either case, I think that they can generate greater economic strength and prosperity using the economic and fiscal tools available. But I'm not going to make the invidious choice between them. I leave that difficulty to the Prime Minister.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. I'm going to bring in Adam Boulton in just a second. But you say correctly, Neil, that you and I have seen a few leaders come and go. We remember Tony Blair very well. He set the record for 3 consecutive Labour election wins.
Yes,
what has Andy Burnham
great.
to learn from Tony Blair?
Explanation. Not performance, not propaganda, but saying what he's doing and why he's doing it to the British public. Because people will exercise tolerance and patience because they don't expect instant miracles if they're told, first of all, what is being done and why it's being done, and then secondly, what accomplishments they're contributing to and they are benefiting from. If there is a kind of radio silence that just expects people to carry on business as usual without their effort being acknowledged and their product being credited and their progress being demonstrated,
Yes.
then it's not much wonder that they get alienated and disillusioned. So I think that Andy will take a very big page out of Tony Blair's brilliant book of explanation.
That is about communications. What about policy? Is there a case for
Well,
our
it's
new Prime
substance
Minister,
that
Neil,
matters.
being...
You're right.
Indeed. And is there a case beyond communications, which is important for our new Prime Minister to be, to use a word which is now becoming fashionable in some circumstances, to be less squeamish about reforming welfare?
Well, it isn't a question of squeamish, is it? It's a question of justice, of fairness, of equity, of ensuring that those in genuine need get a satisfactory standard of living, because disability, disadvantage, unemployment, temporary setbacks that can hit families of every kind and from every background, and seeing that the money is justified because of their condition and the demands upon them, and it goes to those people, but is not available to people who are dodging, swinging the lead,
Right.
playing the system.
Right.
Now, if they are the principles employed in changing what is now called welfare, it's a term I don't really like. I greatly prefer a social benefit system because it suggests the entitlement of citizenship, which is what it should be, rather than some kind of hand-me-down, handout gift, which anybody has ever needed the benefit system or been responsible for representing those who do, as I did for 25 years, knows damn well it is not an easy system.
Right, and before I bring in Adam, dodging and swinging the lead, as you put it, you think that is a significant problem when it comes to the size and the growing size of the welfare budget?
Well, wait a minute, John. See, have a look at the figures, and you will find, to your astonishment possibly, not because you're ignorant, but because there's no reason in the world you should dig into these figures, the proportion of the gross domestic product taken by welfare benefits over the last 30-odd years has hardly moved. It's never gone above about 11.5. It's never gone below about 10.7. So the idea that there's this tidal wave of demand is really a misreading of where we are.
Okay, I mean, I put the question because the phrase "dodging and swinging the lead" was yours and not mine. Just stay with us. Stay with us, Neil, because we've got some news, I think, coming from Downing Street. You'll want to hear. Anna Mikhailova is there. Anna.
John, we've got some breaking news. So John Healey, the former Defence Secretary who quit Keir Starmer's government in a row over defence spending, he has been appointed the next Chancellor of the Exchequer. Huge news. Contrary to expectations that it would be Shaban Mahmood or Ed Miliband, John Healey is going to be the next Chancellor. That's our first big appointment.
Right. Well, there is some hot news straight from our political editor. Neil, what do you make of that? John Healey is the chancellor, not Ed, and not Shabana Mahmood.
Well, it says a lot for Andy Burnham's imagination and effectiveness. It's a very deliberate, determined decision.
What does it signify, Neil?
Knows that. Pardon?
What does it signify?
It signifies that John Healey is a man of really proven capacity, of great integrity and firmness. He's a tough guy. And it's just the qualities that you need in the Treasury. Shabana or Ed would have been brilliant. I have no doubt at all about that. But somebody who comes without any expectation in official circles or in media or the literati, and is going to assert himself as someone who's been in charge of a big budget, found it very unsatisfactory, and is now going to be a gamekeeper. That really does say something about Andy, as it is strongly commending the strengths and abilities of John Healey.
I see it's certainly commended itself towards strategic sense, maybe the least divisive and maybe the most likely to deal with smoothly, to put it that way, than the other two, those we thought were the leading candidates.
He'll take the rough with the smooth because he knows that's real life.
Adam Boulton is here with me.
Yeah, I would guess that the choreography of this, with John Healey going in first and then Shabana Mahmood and Ed Miliband going in together, suggests that the so-called great offices of state are going to go to those three people. Now, Chancellor's gone to John Healey. So my guess is that it may well be that Shabana Mahmood is going to stay as Home Secretary, which of itself is interesting because some of her critics wanted to see her moved so that there could be a watering down of her policies on immigration and asylum. And that also suggests, I think, that Ed Miliband's going to be given the Foreign Secretary's job, which is a very important one. But it has to be said these days, foreign policy tends to be run out of number 10, although Andy Burnham has made it clear he's interested in domestic affairs primarily. We shall see. But I think it's clear that those are going to be the top three. And, of course, we've got the Deputy Prime Minister role we don't yet know about. I've also been keeping count of the departures. Now up to 9. Steve Reed, Peter Kyle, David Lammy, Rachel Reeves, Lord Hermer, Liz Kendall, Joe Stevens, Darren Jones and Jenny Chapman all out. And I think, one thing I would say is that Andy Burnham has talked about not wanting to have factionalism, but the fact that he seems to be dispensing with every single person, some of the ministers who, were generally reckoned to be doing quite a good job, is potentially a problem with this, although what it does give him is a clean slate in terms of saying this is effectively a new government.
Yes. I mean, Keir Starmer always insisted there was no such thing as Starmerism. There certainly seems to be such a thing today as a purge of the Starmerites. We're going to be talking more about this fascinating reform. Neil Kinnock, please carry on. What were you saying?
Obviously, Andy's going for strict merit, and he's not in any sense seeking out and appointing favourites. I think when the full list is complete, and I've no idea, obviously, any more than anybody else has.
Sure.
Who's on that list?
Well, would you say that list I read out were all failures? Would you say that list I read out were all failures?
No. Listen, the people who have been moved out are highly capable people. There's no doubt at all about that. But what's the new Prime Minister, in circumstances that are inevitably churning, when you've got a change of the top of government, inevitably, everybody understands that, whether they've been helped or hindered, removed or included, everybody understands that. In those circumstances, what he's looking for is fresh ideas, fresh views, fresh perceptions, fresh actions. And that, I think, that was inevitable the moment that Keir decided that he wasn't going to fight a contest. So, I mean, I don't think that should come as a surprise to anybody who's Well, any grown-up, actually, let alone close observers.
No, you're right. I mean, surprise or shock wouldn't be applicable. I mean, maybe a certain ruthlessness there when it comes to weeding out those who were clearly not of his stamp.
Hilary Benn, another one. Hilary Benn's gone.
Okay, Neil, it's so good to have you here just to get your thoughts on all of this as it unfolds in real time. If you can stay with us, I would be very, very grateful.